Now let's get up to speed with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds!
Yes, of course. November 5th, 1955. That was the day I invented time travel. I was standing on the edge of my toilet, hanging a clock. The porcelain was wet. I slipped, hit my head on the edge of the sink. And when I came to, I had a revelation. A vision. A picture in my head. A picture of this. This is what makes time travel possible.
I can hear you breathing, I can see you coming, I can feel the wind that's blowing me around.
Welcome back, you filthy satellites, for the last time to the true finale of 5Ds. Yep, similar to GX, the last season of 5Ds was never dubbed and brought over to the West, but at least the dub of 5Ds had some form of an ending. Another major difference is, unlike GX, which was more of an epilogue, the last season of 5Ds is actually really important as it closes out a lot of different plot threads and gives actual closure to the characters. Is it the best ending to a Yu-Gi-Oh series? No, but for what it is, it's a nice send-off to a show that started amazing, then got, let's say, different later on. I'd say the worst part of this last season is, unlike the last two, there is no super hyped mini arc or duel this season. All the duels are pretty mid. But I've been talking about this series long enough, so let's finally bring an end to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds with the final arc, the Ark Cradle arc. Also, I don't know if my voice will sound a little bit different. It's the morning, because I couldn't record at night, which I usually do last night, because my neighbors were playing loud-ass music that would be in the background. So I'm doing this early in the morning instead. I'm so happy to be waking up this early. So obviously being not dubbed or watching the original Japanese audio. And we got a new theme, Road to Tomorrow, Going My Way. And like Believe in Nexus, it's awesome. It's a great song, but again, it's another rock song that I think fits a show in a more contemporary setting. I just think the 5Ds opening should sound more, I don't know, futuristic, something you'd hear more on a sci-fi show, not a generic shonen anime. Or maybe I'm just being salty because I can't hear the English dub opening Hyperdrive anymore. Shit sucks. Not the song's good, I like that. The season begins where the dub left off, Yusei beating Aporia and everyone celebrating 5D's victory. Unlike the dub, it's not all smiles here, as beating Aporia did nothing. In fact, it escalated things, as the final circuit lights up and the divine temple in the sky begins descending. What's more, now everyone can see it, not just signers. Looks like the job's not done yet. Oh yeah, the reason this is called the Ark Cradle arc is because that's what the Divine Temple is in the OG. It's the Ark Cradle. The Divine Temple is a dub name. This is the only time I'm doing this. I will be referring to the Divine Temple as the Ark Cradle starting now for the rest of this video, since, I mean, it's the whole namesake of the Ark. Anyway, this causes the D's and Lazar to work together to figure out how to stop the Ark Cradle's descent, while Bruno wonders if he really intends to destroy New Domino. That's when Zexel, he's still working at the reactor? We haven't seen him since the Fortune Cup. I assumed he just quit or something. Zexel informs the signers that the energy reactor stopped spinning due to the Ark Cradle's appearance, and now no dual runner or most technology is functioning. Then the reactor starts spinning in reverse. Uh-oh, last time that happened, nothing good came from it. Zexel determines this is because up in the Ark Cradle, they detected 3 gears spinning in reverse, creating negative planetary particles, I guess, which is also causing the Ark Cradle to fall, and will collide with New Domino in 12 hours, destroying everything within several hundred kilometers. To be safe, Lazar announces the situation to all of New Domino, saying that they should evacuate, and the city begins to panic. We see a lot of the city-level jobbers we met in those standalone episodes leaving town, while Trudge, Mina, and Sector Security help get people to safety. Meanwhile, the D's, Lazar, and Ellsworth are examining the cradle to figure out a way to stop it, and notice something. It looks awfully familiar. And that's when it hits them. The Ark Cradle is New Domino, the destroyed version Jacob showed them from the future. Seeing this is New Domino in the future, there must be no way to stop it. But hope arrives in Team Ragnarok on their dual runners. They still work somehow. And Ragnarok show, like how they weren't affected by the time travel shenanigans, their rune eyes allow them to still use their runners. And the same goes for the signers, so Bruno theorizes if they can get to the temple with them and spin all the gears in the right direction, maybe the temple will ascend instead of descend. Makes sense. However, an old friend shows up to tell the team, it's not that simple.
それは間違いよ。
シェリー、生きていたんだな。お嬢様。
Yep, Sherry is back and says she's been shown the future. A future where if Yusei enters the Ark, he will die. Everyone calls bullshit on this and asks how Sherry is so sure. Got another hard thing for me to say. Everyone calls bullshit on this and asks how Sherry is so sure. Sells seashells down by the seashore. And she says because she was shown the future by someone named Z1.
ユウセイ、私たちが異次元で出会った男よ。
やつがゾーン
who is the person who split Aporia, the last survivor of the future, and the leader of Iliaster. And look, I'm aware that they kind of say it like Z1, but I'm American. I'm probably going to say it like Z1 for the rest of this, okay? First person to correct me in the comments gets banned. I can do that, right? I can ban people. And yes, if you remember, that's also the name of the card Sherry's parents were killed over. There's no real connection between like the person and the card. They just happen to be named the same thing. Ellsworth thinks Sherry is being woman, is talking all crazy like this, but she informs the team she is with Z1 voluntarily, as she was shown the future, and now thinks destroying New Domino is the correct choice, and if they try to interfere, she will stop them, as she tells Ellsworth to go and forget about her. This news does not deter the D's as they try to come up with a way to reach the Ark Cradle and stop it. Well, not everyone wants to, as Leo, Luna, and Akiza are more hesitant now, knowing there's a possibility Yusei could die. But Yusei assures them he has no plans of letting that happen. Still thinking of how to stop the Cradle, Team Ragnarok approach Yusei alone, saying using their powers, they can use the card Bifrost Bridge to make a literal bridge to the Ark Cradle, allowing him to ride his runner to it. Back in the home base, everyone sees Yusei on a street camera heading towards Satellite and want to know what's up, and he says he's heading to the Ark Cradle alone and that they should all get to safety. Obviously they all go after him. Before he leaves, Crow comforts Ellsworth, who's depressed he can't go with them to help Sherry. So he hands Crow the Z1 card, asking him to give it to her, and Crow agrees. Using the old Energy Reactor, Team Ragnarok makes the bridge as the signers show up, saying they won't let sleeping Nakamas lie, and are coming with Yusei, as they ride the Bifrost connected to the old Daedalus bridge that Rex Goodwin wrote off of himself years ago. As they all cross, Yusei notices another straggler, Visor, who Bruno transformed into a while ago, as Team Ragnarok reach their limit and the bridge starts disappearing behind everyone, but they make it up there safely, and realize this might be a one-way trip. Jack immediately asks why Visor is here, and he says it's cause he's here to find answers like them. But Z1 and Sherry know they are here and immediately activate Trap Hole, separating them. All of them end up on 3 different platforms, Yusei with Visor, Jack with Leo and Luna, and Akiza with Crow. Visor scans the Ark and comes up with a map that shows conveniently all of the platforms they are on lead to one of the 3 gears they need to get to. So since there is nowhere to go but forward, they all agree to re-reverse the gear on their paths and meet up later. The first to arrive at their gear are Akiza and Crow, and waiting for them is Sherry, who is determined to stop them. As she says the gear is tied to her life points, so to stop it they need to beat her in a duel. Akiza and Crow try to find out why Sherry is doing this, with Crow handing her the Z1 card, and Sherry reveals it's because her reason for living is gone. Because if you remember, Clark was the one who ordered the hit on Sherry's parents, but Iliaster erased him from existence. Sherry doesn't even remember him, since she's a normie. She wasn't shielded like the signers, and only remembers going to Momentum Express, interrogating someone, and nothing else. Finding out about all the time stuff from Z1, Sherry realized she has no reason to live if she can't get her revenge anymore. So Z1 offered her one wish, which she will get by helping him. She refuses to say what the wish is and starts a 1-on-2 duel between her, Crow, and Akiza. But she activates a special field spell that splits her in 2, so now it's 2-on-2. Kinda like Serena, another 3-way I want to be a part of. Something's off though. The Sherry Crow is dueling is using rose cards, like Akiza, and the Sherry Akiza is dueling is using black wings, like Crow would. But luckily, thanks to bonds, they figure it out. It was never 2v2. Sherry's card created an illusion that had Crow and Akiza dueling each other, but they break the Genjutsu, continuing the duel like normal. But Sherry is prepared, using the Z1 card. She then uses the Soul Binding Gate card, linking it to her, and makes it so every monster summoned with attack less than her life points, they all take damage. She's determined to take them all out if need be, at the same time. Akiza again asks what is the wish she wants if she's going to such lengths, and Sherry reveals Z1 promised to give her family back. What this means is Z1 will go back in time, making sure Sherry's family lives and she can have the life that was taken from her. Because after seeing the future, she thinks it's all pointless anyway to try to stop it, so if everyone's gonna die, she wants to be with her family at least. Akiza and Crow call bullshit on that, and that's just giving up. But then she shows them a false reality that could happen, so one can go back and save the orphan kids, Crow mentors, whose parents were killed by Zero Reverse. And seeing a vision so real almost has Crow give in, if it means the kids can be happy. But Akiza reaches Crow, saying there's no point in dwelling on what could have been, and thanks to Yusei and the others, she grew and changed from her past traumas, and while she hated it and wants to change it, she's changed because of it, and found friends, and when you believe in yourself and all that, you can use that to grow and help shape the future. This does reach Crow, who admits he almost made a huge mistake, as he combos into Black Wings and is about to win, with Sherry angry at this, saying why they stopped her getting her happiness, and they can't truly understand how she feels, with Crow saying her parents would want her to live on and decide her own future, instead of dwelling on the past, and they wouldn't want to be brought back if it meant destroying New Domino, as Crow lands the finishing blow, beating Sherry and stopping the gear. when I said it was the morning. I don't know, these people are writing this shit in the morning. It's fucking stupid. That's when everything starts crumbling and Crow goes to save Sherry from falling into the Ark, and Akiza leaps at them to help. That's when a light appears, and they see Black Rose Dragon protected them. This experience has somehow reignited Akiza's psychic powers, but instead of causing destruction, they now have the power to heal. Kind of unnecessary, but okay. Sherry then asks them what is she supposed to do now without revenge driving her. They convince her to join them in changing this dark future, and she agrees as the three of them head to the center of the Ark where Zawan is. Next, Jack and the twins arrive at their gear, and guess who's back? Aporia! Yep, Zawan managed to salvage him from his duel with Yusei, and make him better, sort of, as he's fused with the gear and has to be defeated to deactivate it. Also, he looks like that. But that's not all, because he also forcibly attaches heart monitors to the big D and smaller Ds that's connected to their life points. So if any of them lose all their life points, they straight up die, their hearts stop. A bit excessive. I see Aporia hasn't lost his extraness. So it's a tag duel, 1v3. Should be easy. Oh wait, right, they have Leo with them, a non-signer, and also uses Morphtrons, which suck, as all of his moves either hurt Jack and Luna or help Aporia. Now any sane person would take Leo out so they could win, but despite his constant fuck-ups, Jack and Luna keep cheering on Leo and tell him not to give up over some mistakes and keep fighting. Aporia laughs at this friendship nonsense, saying it's meaningless as he has achieved true apathy. He's doing this because he wants to show them true despair and have them give up, because he thinks nihilism is the true way. Why fight it when life kicks you in the ass? Just accept it, you can't change the future, man. And to prove his point, he constantly attacks Luna to get Leo to give in to his despair. Man, motherfucker sound like a Danganronpa villain. But Leo through it all refuses to give up since he sees Jack and Luna continuing to fight, and that he needs Luna as much as she needs him, and using one of his cards, admittedly he does something cool. He sacrifices himself at the end to give Jack and Luna a fighting chance, which causes him to die. And devastated by her brother dying, Luna starts losing her own life force because of the despair. But luckily he has a monster on the field that revives him when his life points drop to 0. Could have mentioned that before you died, Leo, you really almost just killed your sister there. But that's not the important thing. Because of his sacrifice and courage or whatever, all the signer marks glow and disappear and end up on Leo's back. And then on his arm, the mark of the dragon's hand appears. As Leo gets back up, yep, Leo is now a signer, for real, at least unlike Crow, there's a reason he got it. And with this, Leo gains new power and ditches his old power tool dragon I've never brought up, it sucks, and now has Lifestream Dragon, which of course perfectly counters Aporia's strategy of slowly picking away their life points with effect damage. And thanks to this newly specific power and some epic Japanglish, three absolutely stomp Aporia, but seeing them all push through despair and win, Aporia says he has obtained that mythical hope he's heard so much about. Well, with that, there's only one gear left, the one Yusei and Visor are heading to. And Yusei is curious how Visor seems to know the layout of this place so well after one scan. And again, Visor says he doesn't know, but the answer should be here somewhere. And they realize since the other signers dueled someone, there's probably someone waiting for them at their gear they must beat. But no, there's no one there. It's just them. Oh, this'll be easy. That's when some orbs of light appear and enter Visor, and he remembers everything. Turning to Yusei, removing his visor, showing that he is Bruno, and says the one Yusei has to beat to deactivate the gear is him? Nani the fuck? That's when Bruno explains his real name is Antinomy. How many names does this character need? Antinomy is one of the 4 survivors, along with Zawan, Aporia, and the other guy we don't know yet. Instead of being split like Aporia, Antinomy had his memory wiped in order to help guide Yusei to this moment. Sure. Yusei is reluctant to duel someone he has called a friend, but realizes this is the only way forward, as they begin a turbo duel in Magical Spaceland? Sure. Yeah, I know I normally call out stuff that I find weird or lame, but it's the last season, and by this point in Yu-Gi-Oh!, barely halfway through all the series, mind you, it's not worth it to call out when something is dumb. You have eyes and ears, you can judge on your own. Also, for some reason, this space area made the animation take a huge dip in quality. When Antinomy exposits that stuff again about how synchros ruin the future, blah blah blah, we know all this already. It's a PowerPoint slideshow, and the animations during the duel move at frames per second, I can say that much. One interesting thing is Antinomy during his flashback doesn't say it, but when he remembers Zawan, we see a spitting image of Yusei. What could that mean? Also, I will say I do like that the antagonists for this last arc are as strong as the Ds because of bonds, but instead of conquering some evil like the protags, they all bonded due to their despair and nihilism, which is why Aporia and Antinomy are so devoted to Zawan. They found comfort with each other through their pain. I really like that antithesis to Yu-Gi-Oh characters' usual bonds of friendship, you know? It's more interesting than the main baddies being evil for evil's sake. During this duel, Antinomy uses a new form of synchro summoning, Delta Excel Synchro. Yes, another one. The only thing here is you use a tuner and 2 synchro monsters. And even though Antinomy uses this new mechanic to summon the best card in a duel, a card with the word negate on it, Yusei wins thanks to Protag drawing powers and beats Antinomy. After the duel, Yusei realizes their bonds still hold true, as Antinomy did duel for Zawon, but also did it to show Yusei Delta Excel Synchro, a new power that he believes Yusei will use to change the future. As he admits, as Bruno, the days spent with the D's were the best days of his life. Or lives, I guess. Yusei tries to save Antinomy, but he said it before, the loser gets absorbed into that star thing, as he pushes Yusei back into the Ark Cradle, trusting the future to him, as Antinomy, Bruno, Visor, whoever, dies. Despite a fallen friend, everyone does meet up at the center of the Ark, where the main planetary gear is, with Yusei informing everyone of Bruno's, aka Visor, aka that word's, fate. Despite their losses, they still have one more thing to do, confront the true mastermind of all this, Zawon, and they all finally come face to mechanical floating chair with him. Zawon is unimpressed with their ability to make it here, as he says there's nothing they can do to change the future, because they refuse to stop using synchro summoning, the cause of all this. Because if it weren't for synchro summoning, Zero Reverse would never have happened, their lives would have been better, because also Zawon would have never had to go back in time to cause all this. This includes his other plans, like when he sent Paradox back in time to eliminate the source of duel monsters. Whoa, wait. Paradox? That asshole is canon? You're telling me all that shit actually happens? It's not just a what-if story? Oh god. If you don't know who Paradox is or what I'm talking about, I'll explain next time. Just know, it's wild that the show is acknowledging his existence. Anyways, yeah, Zawon tried to mess with the timeline multiple times but failed. Not as much as Aporia failed, who's back. Yeah, he's still around, and before Yusei duels him, he challenges Zawon to a duel. Because after dueling Leo, Aporia now has hope, and realized despite all his preaching of nihilism, Zawon still has some hope too, somewhere deep down. And his proof is Antinomy, because he sent Antinomy to help Yusei and lead him to Delta Excel Synchro, the only power that could stop him, meaning somewhere deep down, he holds some hope that Yusei and the others can change the future. Zawon denies this, but still agrees to duel Aporia to prove there is no hope for the present or future. And he also has a dumb transformation. So Zawon uses Time Lords, not the Doctor Who kind. They are an archetype that have no attack points, but a ton of effects that keep you alive while messing with your opponent. A pretty cool one, except for the fact for some reason all of them have these dumb looking faces right in the center of their chests. And it's like on a screen too. It's very funny. I don't know how I'm supposed to take this seriously, if I am at all. Anyway, despite preaching about hope like a Danganronpa protag, Aporia loses badly, but the signers tell him the duel did give them hope as they now know Zawon's cards and strategies. What's more, he somehow gives Yusei's runner the ability to fly? Okay. But now it's time for the final battle, Yusei versus Zawon. And Z is like, alright Hope Boy, you can fly now, so meet me in the skies. But before Yusei goes out, the others give him their dragon cards to use in the duel. What's more, to continue to spread despair, Zawon broadcasts this whole duel to the evacuating citizens of New Domino, and declares himself a god, and it's foolish to go against him. Alright bro, relax, you're good at playing a children's card game, don't call yourself a god. But Yusei says using his bonds and dragon cards, he will forge a path to a new future as the final battle begins. The duel is cool for a final boss duel. You got your synchros, more unintentionally hilarious Time Lords. It's pretty even at first, but then one good attack from Yusei damages the one shell thing, and everyone is surprised when they see a part of his face.
なんだとお前は
優勢と同じ
Yes, Zawon has the same mark that Yusei does from when he got put in the facility, and he claims to be Yusei from the future. Everyone is in shock of this, that Yusei would go evil and try to destroy the world, and they're right to be skeptical because this is a fake out. They don't even let it sit for a few minutes. Because actually, Zawon is some jobber scientist who tried his best to find a way to save everyone after the Mech Lords attacked. And he came to the conclusion, the energy in the Energy is powered by human emotion and responds to their desires. And since they turned negative over the years, this meant he had to add some positive vibes. That's when he remembered the tales of the legendary Yusei Fudo, who saved the world from the Dark Signers and inspired Hope, uniting Satellite and New Domino. So he used his techno-nerd skills to turn himself into Yusei, by using a machine to make him think and act like him, as well as copy his protag swag by making his face and likeness. Yeah, the final boss of the show is a crazy superfan of the MC. I don't know about you, but I find that scarier than darkness. Anyway, this actually worked, as being a faker did inspire the people, causing the mech lords to stop attacking. They did it! They won! Oh wait, but he's here now, so that didn't happen. What really happened is now that there were all these positive vibes, there's no need for mech lords anymore. So they exploded, killing everyone. Whoops. That is what caused the one to come up with this plan now to eliminate New Domino in the past, because even hope couldn't save the future. It just made it worse. All the people watching someone tell this tale are stunned and are starting to feel that despair of the future. But Yusei won't be faded. He says that's all bullshit. There's no way you can create a bright future if it means killing everyone in the past. Someone says it's meaningless as he used Yusei's protagonist powers himself and it didn't work. Just give up, it's the easy way out. But Yusei stands his ground, even figuring out since the one thinks he's him, he would use the same strategies and manages to figure out what moves he'd make, or he'd make. This is getting confusing. Point is, Yusei is getting his ass beat now and almost gets knocked off his runner and dies like Sherry was shown. Until Ghost Dad returns once again and tells his son, "Hey, quit being a little bitch. Did I give up when my lab assistant turned on me and almost caused the apocalypse? No, because I ain't a bitch, and my son ain't a bitch, so get back in there and kick your ass." Inspired by this fatherly pep talk, Yusei is so hopped up on bonds and friendship, he flies into space? Hey, relax, Yusei, that's the next series. But up here, Yusei reaches the final form of Overtop Clear Mind and turns gold. I'm gonna be honest, I have watched this happen and wrote those words and still don't understand how any of this is happening, but it is hype as hell. And with this new Mario power-up, Yusei manages to limit over Excel Synchro Summon. Okay, Konami, I know English words sound better in Japanese or whatever, and I know you're trying to bring the hype, but adding more nouns and adjectives does not make things sound cooler. It just makes it sound stupider to say out loud. Like shooting Quasar Dragon, Yusei's final monster summon. And this power is provided by all the hope of the citizens of New Domino, as we see pretty much every major character that's appeared root for Yusei. Honestly, forgot about some of these people. And Yusei does it. He manages to beat Zawan's bullshit anime effects, winning the duel. But not everything is done. The Ark Cradle does stop, but now all the parts start falling off, including the one the D's are on. But the Crimson Dragon saves them. Yusei heads to a defeated Zawan, who is now on his last legs, as he admits he wishes he could have lived long enough to see this future Yusei is creating. But Yusei might not be around either, as he still needs to get the main gear in the Ark Cradle to spin in the right direction, and says this will be his final role in saving the city, as he flies back into the cradle. But Zawan shows up too, saying he has the same good vibe energy as Yusei, remember? And he will right his wrong, so Yusei can see this new future with his friends. As Zawan goes out, spinning the Ark positively, thinking about seeing his friends again. Aporia, Antinomy, and Paradox, still can't believe that guy is canon. And the temple starts disappearing. The city is saved, but the D's think Yusei was the one who did it, and that the future of Yusei dying still came true. But they all see Yusei flying back toward them, happy he survived, as now they have changed the future, and did it together. The end. Damn, that was weird. I don't think there will ever be a story that doesn't get overcomplicated when time travel is involved. I did like this the one trying to use protagonist powers, and after they failed, came to the conclusion that the world's fucked if protagonists can't save it. Give up. And the Time Lords will always be funny to me. Plus, the over-the-top way Yusei turned gold, for lack of a better term, was gold. So stupid it circles back around to being kinda fun to me. And now satellites that the future is ours to make, we're almost done, as we now begin the last few episodes of 5Ds, the epilogue. It's some unimportant amount of time later, as everyone is now living their best lives, because the future is theirs to shape. But one problem, none of them know what to shape it into, now that their job as signers is done. Leo and Luna might be leaving New Domino City with their parents to be closer, but would be leaving everyone in the process. Crow is now a sector security officer? Is that irony? But has gotten offers from a scout to become a pro turbo duelist, overseas, so he'd leave too. Akiza, being at the top of her class, wants to become a doctor, but this would require her to study abroad. Noticing the pattern here? Even Yusei, who after all this becomes a scientist under the new mayor of Domino City, Lazar. Yeah, they got rid of the board of directors system. Yusei makes a new energy reactor with his fortune program, much better than that shitty one his dad made. And with this new reactor, Zawan's future definitely won't happen now, as the reactor should be fine. That means Yusei also is unsure of what to do now. Since the beginning of this, he's always fought for his friends, but there's no need to fight anymore. For real this time. What's more, he's also gotten various offers from many pro teams, and like everyone else, he's unsure of what to do. That's when the signers decide to have a barbecue, realizing they haven't seen each other in a while due to trying to live their lives. Or they all admit their indecisivenesses for their various problems, and don't know what to do as they want to follow their dreams but don't want to leave everyone. I would hesitate. Why would I leave when Akiza's over here looking like a snack? That's when Jack appears. Yeah, he's been MIA for a while, and he explains he's been going around dueling people all over because he got an offer to compete in the World Turbo Duel League, and he accepted. He's not hesitating at all, he's out of here. Crow is shocked to see Jack throw away all their bonds, but Jack says bonds, friendship, he's tired of hearing about that shit. He has a dream and he's gonna achieve it no matter what. They don't need to be here to support each other anymore, and says they should all go off on their own and forge their own path, because if bonds are what's stopping him from achieving what he wants to do, then he'll break those bonds. Everyone is shocked to hear this and not as sure as Jack on what to do. So of course, to figure it out, Yusei challenges Jack to a duel, which Jack is happy about because he knows before he can be the best, he needs to beat Yusei. And this is the very last duel of the series, and for the very last duel, it's cool. It's what you'd expect of Yusei dueling Jack, all kinds of synchros and stuff. But through this duel, everyone does come to the same realization, that they do need to move on, and leaving the city doesn't mean their bonds as friends is so fragile it'll break if they're not together. But Yusei comes to another conclusion, as we move on to the final episode, episode number 154 of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, which weirdly starts out with a flash forward to what everyone is like in the future. We see Leo and Luna, what looks like college age, in London, where Luna is a student and Leo says he's heading to the pros of turbo dueling, filling in for Crow, who did become a pro duelist in a team, but is planning on going solo with Leo replacing him. As Crow will be heading to the solo league, where Jack is, who's the best turbo duelist in the world right now, but admits in an interview there's still someone out there he's never beaten, and will never quit until he does. Finally, we see Akiza as a doctor, remembering the words Yusei told her as she watches Jack on TV. We do not see Yusei in this future, he's just mentioned by everyone. Then we cut back to the present, where, oh my god, it's Yusei's jobber friends. When was the last time we even saw them? Like 100 episodes ago? See why I called them jobbers? They stopped mattering like after what, episode 40? But yeah, Yusei wins the duel against Jack as everyone announces their plans for the future. Even Yusei, who announces, he is the bridge that connects everyone. I see being a protagonist doesn't make you humble. This means he's the only one who's decided to stay in New Domino and protect and aid the city so there can be a reason for his friends to return and gather again. With that, everyone ties up some loose ends. Leo and Luna talk about how all this signer stuff has changed them. Crow says goodbye to the kids at Martha's orphanage. Akiza packs up and says goodbye to her parents as she does one last thing, meeting Yusei alone because she tries to confess her feelings, but pusses out at the last minute, one of my most hated anime tropes. There is a weird moment where it's implied that they kiss, I think. He better not. You stay away from my woman, Fudo. Speaking of women, Jack's harem see him off, with none of them coming with him, as Jack says the most sigma alpha beta male thing I think I've ever heard, that he's aware of all their feelings, but women are a distraction, and he needs focus. Based as fuck till the end, Atlas. Finally, we end this series on the two that started it all, Yusei talking with Trudge about what's next, with even them talking about how not too long ago they were enemies, but are now close allies. As Yusei declares he'll make sure New Domino is an even better city for when his friends return. Then we get the final scene the next day, as the signers meet up on the Daedalus Bridge, each of them excited for their new future, as they all ride off together one last time. That's when the Crimson Dragon appears and removes their signer marks, as their jobs as signers is now fully complete. And they all head off on different paths, but will always remain in each other's hearts, as the series ends with Yusei telling them to ride that turbo duel called life. That's actually what he says.
ここから先は俺たちが作り出す未来走り続けようぜみんな人生という名のライディングデュエルをライディングデュエルアクセラレーション
And that's Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Overall, it's kind of a fucking mess, but that first season though, am I right? Sure, later 5Ds gets kind of whack, but the Dark Signer arc, Crashtown, and Taio's duel, I think there's enough good to outweigh the bad, which makes the series even out to be alright, I guess. And if you haven't gotten the memo by this point, I'm kind of biased towards this show. I love the characters, the stories they try to tell, the music, the lore, the world building, and if you forgot when I mentioned at the beginning, this was when I was the most into the IRL card game. I was all about 5Ds. I'm sure you watching this feel the same way about your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, which is probably the one that aired when you got the most into the card game. I think it's the same dealio for everyone. So yeah, I could be harsher on all the dumb time travel stuff, but it's my video, I can be as biased as I want. And if you have a problem with that, then why not leave a comment and subscribe so you can keep correcting me on things like this. Well, you might be thinking at least now that 5Ds is over, my biases will end as we move on to the next series. You thought. So if you didn't know, 5Ds aired during 2010. The original Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, the Duel Monsters one, not the Toei one, debuted in 2000. So 5Ds aired during the anime's 10th anniversary. And they made sure to celebrate it because remember Paradox, that guy Zo1 mentioned? Well, he had his own little time travel escapade. I hope you Slifer Slackers kept your uniforms and your star chips, so we gotta rev it up one last time as we go back back to a time when Yu-Gi-Oh! Lasted more than one turn, as we take a look at the 10th anniversary movie special, Yu-Gi-Oh! Bonds Beyond Time.